Mark, today the conference here, beautiful venue, but it is very serious. The whole aspect, the whole feature about it, it's managing road risk, what, why and how. What are you focusing on today?
We're focusing on everybody's superpower, to be honest. We've got an awful lot of fleets and organisations in the fleet world represented here, and we're always very conscious that we're preaching to the converted. So these guys, by and large, I'm sure, run their own liveried fleets very, very, very well. But a call out to them is manage your difficult fleet as well, your grey fleet, your car fleets, and use your superpower to be demanding of your suppliers and your supply chain that they step up to the standards, be sharing that knowledge with your own employees, be sharing that knowledge with your customers, because between us we can actually make a difference to the number of casualties on our roads.
It's interesting you say about between us, because you're focusing, I noticed today, on shared responsibility. What does that actually mean?
It means what it says, to be honest. We all have a shared responsibility for road safety. Typically, tragically, 5 people will die on our roads every day. A further 70 or so will suffer serious, quite probably life-changing injuries, and we can all do something about it. We can provide a good network, we can provide good roads, manufacturers can provide good vehicles with safety systems, but businesses also need to be making sure that they are playing their part in terms of managing their driver behaviours.
You mentioned that the aim of today, or one of them, is encouraging that conversation, that, literally starting and talking to your staff. Is that realistically a problem that you have focused on or featured as far as this conference is concerned, that has been recognised that we need to get over?
It's maybe a bit of a sweeping generalisation, this, but this does happen, is drivers are out of sight and out of mind. Businesses, and I've spent years in the transport industry, I come across an awful lot of organisations who are very serious about their management of risk within their organisations, within their offices, their production facilities, their construction sites, yet somehow seem to forget that their drivers are out there in a high risk environment. And for me, it's a health and safety management issue, not a fleet issue, which is why we very much focus this event on engaging with health and safety professionals, because to be blunt, they know how to manage health and safety, they're just not necessarily doing it in this area of operations. And that's a big aim for today, is to shine a light on that and get that level of engagement.
So how do we get around that though?
A bite at a time, as the old adage goes. Every fleet we can influence will make a difference. There's no sweeping magic bullet on this. One of the things I do feel quite passionately about though is on-road incidents aren't RIDDOR reportable. They're not reportable to HSE in the same way as an incident on a construction site or in an office would be. And my view is that businesses would engage way more with their driving fleet if they knew that those incidents were RIDDOR reportable in the same way as an incident on a construction site or in an office, for example. And I think if it was a single silver bullet I could fire, that would absolutely be it.
Driving for Better Business, a great campaign. Seems too good to be true. It's free, isn't it?
It is too good to be true. It's a bit of a well-kept secret in some respects, which I'm really trying to knock down with these kind of events and our other activity. We have some fabulous resources for car drivers, van drivers, HGV drivers, whatever they're doing in an organisation or a supply chain, and it's absolutely all free. So don't fall into the trap of thinking it's free so it can't be very good. Don't fall into the trap of thinking it's free so there must be the catch, because genuinely there isn't.
So how do we find out about Driving for Better Business then, Mark?
Just visit our website, drivingforbetterbusiness.com, and it's all there for you to find and to explore.
Today, a big day for Driving for Better Business. You actually are launching a couple of very important documents to help not only your members, but all people who are driving, literally as part of their working day.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are they?
First of all, we're launching our guide to incident investigation. My experience has been a lot of businesses are very, very good at managing their health and safety within the walls in their offices, construction sites, etc., not so much out on the road. And as anybody involved in health and safety will know, one of the key elements is learning the lessons of the past. I don't see many businesses managing, investigating incidents of all levels particularly well. So our incident investigation guidance is there to try and support people in understanding the right kind of structure, the importance of capturing data as immediately after the incident as you can do, of interviewing drivers, other witnesses, and working through, we talk about the just culture a lot. It's not a blame-free culture. It may well be somebody who gets the blame at the end of this, but the business can demonstrate that they've been fair and just all the way through the process, and the repercussions, not necessarily just to the driver, but maybe to other people within the organisation, or even a learning across the organisation that their policies weren't up to scratch, is absolutely key. So investigate incidents, learn from the past, and ultimately we want to find a method where people be sharing their findings. So a bit like the aircraft industry, the airline industries, where people don't have to find out the hard way, they can pick the brains of other people who've been there, done it, and have developed the remedy for the programme. So really important document. We're releasing our guide to managing driver roadworthiness. Anybody who's been around the fleet world for any time will be aware of the importance of managing vehicle roadworthiness, but now we're turning our attention to drivers in particular. We know, looking back at the causations of crashes on our roads, virtually none of them are actually caused by the vehicle. The initial causation doesn't lie with the vehicle. The initial causation, virtually without exception, lies with the driver, performance issues, decision making. And when you start trying to work out what they are, we talk about them being the 5 known unknowns. And the reason we call them that is we know they're in the mix. It's just difficult to actually tie down the proportionality and the crossovers. But the 5 are distraction, fatigue, impairment, medical conditions and carelessness. So something's made that driver behave in the way that it did, and we haven't managed to tie it down to any of the other 4, so we're just calling it carelessness. But if you take the 4 excluding carelessness, they're all within the control and the management requirements of an organisation. Yeah, it's an area that people tend to be a little bit nervous about, it's a difficult thing to do, etc. And fundamentally it's about capturing the data that's out there from various academics, various research projects, various experts in the field, and translating that into the kind of language that anybody can pick up and read and understand quickly what the issues are, and understand quickly the kind of best practice steps that they ought to be putting into their organisation. In the HGV fleet and the van fleet, we have an ageing workforce. So, there's an awful lot of diabetes in there, there's an awful lot of impairment abuse, I have to say, in there, there's an awful lot of fatigue management. It's a tiring business. And it's making sure fleets and businesses, the owners and the leaders in those organisations have the right kind of tools and the right kind of knowledge to actually start making a difference in there, because that is what will reduce casualties on our roads.
One message from today, one key thing you want the delegates to take away from today's conference. What will it be, Mark?
I guess the message is this isn't just a nice day out of the office. You're here to learn, you're here to be motivated. We would hope to raise levels of enthusiasm to get out there and make a difference. This is personal.